What's up, guys? So today we're going to be talking all about Polaris. We're going to go over what T4's I recommend, what ISO class she should be. We're also going to talk about who the ideal 5th member is for easily punching up on the Black Order. All that and more, let's get into it. There's a blue. Hey! There's a 3-red Polaris. At least we're on the board with Polaris. A purple! All 4 anti-venom. Alright though, not mad. Oh, a purple. Oh, but it was Korath. Want that purple Polaris. Purple. Hey, 5 red Polaris. Don't even need to open the elites. That's what's up. A purple. A 60. All right, at least we got something decent from all this. That's not too bad. I'll take a 60. Still going to be on the low end, though. All right, the final orb. We're ending with a green and a 6. Well, glad we did that dramatic pause. Okay, then. So, all in all, 176. We are 4 shards away from a 4-star Polaris. Well, that's a bummer. A purple! And an 80 drop. Very nice. Kirby Commando delivers. Alright, we need one more orb and we're set. We'll do some T4 advice, but one thing I like about Polaris, she doesn't really need T4s. So, we'll break down why. So we'll start with our basic here. 40% damage to primary and secondary targets. It will also increase the damage that a bleed does. If you didn't know, a bleed, the damage a bleed does goes up with the ability level of the ability that's applying the bleed. So a level 6 ability applies bleeds that do 135% of the character's base damage. And a level 7 ability, they do 150%. So it is 15% more base damage on the bleeds. And that is modified by offense up when it's applied. But yeah, so it would go up to, if you factor that in, 55% more damage to primary and secondary. Not that important. If anything, the 5% barrier to the most injured non-summoned ally can help, but it's only 5% barrier. So you think about it as like 5% max health. It's not a ton. And more importantly, this team is going to spend a lot of time with their barrier maxed, because when they're getting crits, they do a really good job of keeping their barrier topped off. So if they're in dire straits and things are starting to go south, that can maybe save you, but it's only 5%, so probably not. The special, it'll add 30% damage to primary and secondary targets, 40% piercing to primary and secondary targets if they have bleed, and then the damage of the bleed will go up as well. Now, the interesting thing here is, as you can see, she has gained 50% extra crit chance against the primary target, and it would go to always crit the primary target, which sounds really, really good. And if you're running her solo as a striker, that may be more tempting. But on her team, she's going to get 25% crit chance from one of her teammates. And then as a raider, I believe you can give her another 20% crit chance. So she should be at like 95% crit chance. So it's not really worth the T4 to guarantee that crit when you can just run her as a raider on her team and be fine anyway. And then the extra damage, it's not a ton of damage. Again, it's even if you factor in the bleeds, and if we assume they were already bleeding, it's another 55% damage. It's just not that much, so definitely not essential. You can see the ultimate here. This will add 40% damage to all targets, which again, not a lot of damage. Flip all regeneration of bleed as opposed to flip 2 regeneration of bleed. So that can amount to quite a bit more damage in certain matchups, in particular against Doc Ock, against Black Order, which I don't really recommend this team for facing Black Order anyway, but if you do, they tend to get a ton of regen. But yeah, really, against the team that's actually going to have a ton of regen, like against the symbiotes, this can be really big, but you already have to drop multiple man, otherwise the symbiotes are going to be just rushing X Factor because they can just farm the multiple man dupes and get crazy speed. So mainly this really, really shuts down Doc Ock. So this is one to consider for specific matchups, but in most matchups against most teams, you don't run into people having more than 2 stacks of regen, and it doesn't apply to the minor regen that people get from the healer ISO class, so it's just not that important. But this could win you a couple matchups in war if you're specifically facing those counter matchups. So one to consider, but I'm not going to be doing it right away. On war offense, plus 5% max health for self and non-summon X Factor allies. Extra max health is nice, but it's only 5%, so it's not a tremendous amount. a fully maxed Polaris, I want to say, is like 450,000 health. So even if we round up and say she has 500,000, which she definitely does not have that much, but even if we say that she does, then the extra 5% comes out to like between 20 and 25k health, which again, that's on a fully maxed Polaris, and the average like basic attack with fully maxed characters, we're talking 60 to 75,000 damage in one hit. So it's just not a lot. It's only 5%. And then on War Offense, an additional plus 5% max barrier for self and non-summon X Factor allies. So we're going to do a little bit of testing to find out how this works. Either way, it's not that great, but it'll either be a little worth considering or absolute garbage. And that's because the wording is a little bit vague here. Technically, the way it reads, plus 5% max barrier should mean that the total amount of barrier a character has increases by 5% of that amount. So it should be worth 1.5% of a character's max health as additional barrier, which, I mean, we just talked about why 5% max health isn't that much, so 1.5% of max health, definitely not that much. It is possible that what this means to say is plus 5% of a character's max health available as max barrier, which would make it slightly better, still not super good, but it would at least effectively be adding 10% max health in the form of 5% as max health and 5% max health as barrier. So that would make it a little bit better. Again, it would just make it worth considering. By no means is this essential. And the way it's worded suggests that it's 5% max health and 1.5% of their max health as barrier. But we'll do some testing and see if it goes the other way. But again, either way, this is not that important. So rejoice. We have a fairly strong character that does not need any T4's on day one. So I see this as an absolute win. All right, we'll run 4X Factor into Black Bolt, Ultron, Ebony Thanos combo with Minerva. All right, drop this AoE. We got some crits, which means we can drop this AoE. Yeah, we might as well have the multiple man dupes on the field, and then since he's gonna taunt, we'll clump them up over there. Okay. He's gonna drop the ultimate. There's the offense downs. Actually, we could have kept hitting her, but alright, here we got some Ultron bots.
76 is now following.
Minerva really hard counters multiple man, so we'll see how this goes here. And alright, we got some defense downs, that's good. Yeah, let's see if we can just take this Minerva out, even with offense down. Oh, not quite. But this should do it, I'm thinking. Oh no, it still didn't. Okay. Well, we don't need the additional multiple man dupes yet, but we do need the offense up. And, okay. She got a little bit of healing there, but... Oh. Alright, Ultron will get to go, and he'll take out a dupe, so that's a little bit more, healing. Oh man, she is just hanging in there. Alright, Minerva goes down. We do want to steal as many good positive effects as we can from Ultron. Now, Multiple Man himself was disrupted, but that's okay. Alright, Ultron goes down. I think we're going to be just fine here. Even playing into Minerva. Storm goes down, being the only non-X factor, but everyone else has a good amount of barrier, so we're fine. Black Bolt goes down. Ebony Maw ultimate is going to be coming out here shortly. But yeah, let's make some more dupes. There it is. Alright, go ahead and drop this. That is not going to be enough. This is another very, very consistent one-sided win. Alright, you may notice for this section that what you're hearing is not matching what you're seeing on screen, and it's because a lot of people were talking about a lot of off-topic stuff during this particular clip in the stream. So I'm dubbing it over, but what you're about to see is why Zemo makes such an incredible 5th member for X Factor. So this is an 8.3 of Blitz against a Black Order team. And the beauty of running Zemo as the 5th is, as you're about to see here, Zemo goes really early on, and you can see from all the barrier that the X Factor members have that he went super, super early and scored a crit, which means all of the rest of the X Factor get to take really, really early turns. So I opt not to go with the ability block because that actually happened before Thanos even flipped. But we were able to hit him with a special. And so, again, keep in mind, this is against Black Order in 8.3 of Blitz. There are not a lot of teams that you want to try this with. But so we go ahead and fire off, even though they're offense down, fire off the long shot special. Multiple Man does go ahead and cleanse himself there. Ebony Maw actually outside of the 2-space range to get pulled in, but the dupe is able to strip the taunt from Cull, which means that we can finish off Ebony Maw. And as you can see, they put out a really, really good amount of AoE. Proxima and Corvus are also very low. Now, the Black Order are not pushovers here. I do go ahead and use the Multiple-Man ult because I want the offense up on Longshot for his ultimate, which is coming up. So I go ahead and drop that Polaris special, and now technically we're in a 5v2. But again, the Black Order, not a bunch of pushovers, rather. So that offense up Thanos ult comes out and does a ton of damage. It wipes Zemo immediately. Polaris gets taken out by the Cull, and then Longshot gets taken out by a combination of Thanos and Cull, and suddenly we're in a 2v2. But Thanos is very low, and so even though we have to go ahead and hit Cull here, Multiple Man is basically going to do all the heavy lifting now. Sooner or later, we will be able to strip that taunt off of Cull, and thanks to some counters, Thanos is gone. And Multiple Man would have been fine to win this 1v1 anyway, because Cull would have just spent the rest of the match distracted. But he does have the benefit of also having Shatterstar here, and because he has such phenomenal healing, he's healing 20% of his max health every time he takes a turn. So he's going to be recovering pretty quickly. You can see he's already back up to like 60% health. Very, very good. And yeah, Multiple Man is just going to give Cull the runaround for a while, and the dupes can actually steal Death Proof, which means that Multiple Man is very, very safe. And so, yeah, you can see the 2 remaining members are pretty much back to full health, but that shows you right there. Zemo as the 5th allowed them to punch up massively on the Black Order in 8.3 of Blitz. You can only imagine what they would do in Alliance War, where they get even more damage and other bonus. All right, so there you have it. A very strong showing from some early X Factor gameplay. Again, in particular, Baron Zemo, such an incredibly strong 5th because he can get a crit super, super early, providing an opportunity for the X Factor to go very, very early in any given match. So I highly recommend him as a 5th if you can squeeze him in there, if he doesn't have somewhere else. But on that note, that is all I've got for you guys today. So thank you very much for checking out this video. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and contact your local attorney. And I will see you guys real soon. Until next time, peace!